Well, since last time the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock thing happened,
Right.
you're actually friends with Chris Rock.
I am, and Will put me on.
Will put you on. Okay. Are you still close to Will or no?
I respect Will, and I think, but I was very vocal about what I thought about that. I thought it was so.
Well, was Chris Rock actually? Did he ever appear on the Hughleys?
No, but he was the executive producer of the Hughley.
Oh, he's the executive producer. Okay, there we go. That's the connection.
So he was the executive producer for the first couple of years.
Okay.
Will actually was how I got the show because I was a warm up and people saw it and ended up. So it was a weird combination. But
Yeah.
I thought that it was horrible. Look, I just didn't understand why you was crying. You won the Oscar and the fight. What the fuck you got to cry about?
You won the Oscar
and the fight. Like what? But I thought it was just the things that people said didn't compute. Well, he shouldn't have been. People went to the Oscars every day, every year, and know that a comedian is going to say some incredibly insensitive, incendiary shit.
Yes.
But in the 60, 70 years it's been happening, that never happened.
Yes.
And the joke that he said wouldn't be, you're not going to even remember the joke. You're going to remember.
It was the G.I. Jane joke.
Right. You're going to remember it. So I thought it was a horrible moment. And I thought it was disgusting that everybody ran to comfort Will. Like when I watched Denzel comfort Will, that was like Ike comforting Training Day. Like I'm like, like he didn't just get hit, motherfucker. What? And for me, it was just a bad deal. And knowing what had happened to Chris and how he'd been bullied and Will had been bullied, it was two men who had been trauma and had been wrestling demons, having those demons meet in the same place at the same time. But I thought it was just horrible. And I hated the way, first off, motherfucker, you don't have, if you're really sorry, you don't wait all this time to tell me you're sorry. You apologize to everybody but me that night, and you went out and party.
Yeah.
So I have a different estimation of that. I love and respect both those men. I'll tell you how I felt about it. It's how, and I think that Chris has gone on, he's gone on. They doing great, and they're both, no one's going to be, but Chris will always be the dude who got slapped. Even the tickets they sell. He can't do a show right now without anybody wondering about that slap.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you guys had a conversation about that.
Yes.
And how did he feel in that conversation?
I mean, he didn't really say a lot about it. And to date, I haven't heard him say anything.
Yeah.
And that's indicative of a thing. I don't know that he knows where to put it, and I can't speak for him, but that man got a mama and a daddy, and his father's gone, but his mother and brother and kids, his children watch that. And everybody rushed to the defense of this one dude. I'm like, wow, that seemed off to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, people look at this situation. I remember we were having conversations and interviews about this. Like, at the end of the day, everyone's men, right? And everyone's got millions of dollars, and everyone's got people around them that will do something ignorant on their behalf, right? When you look at, for example, the way Tupac died, wasn't that different from the situation that happened at the Oscars?
No.
You went and physically assaulted a man in a public space. You may not have hurt him tremendously, but there was a lot of embarrassment and there's a lot of bad feelings and there's a lot of anger and I'm sure Chris had a thought of revenge, during the course of that, that evening.
I just don't imagine how that could have happened. And I stood there with all that metal on the table and didn't try to do, but the great.
Well, what I'm saying is that could have escalated. That could have escalated. I don't know Chris Rock. I've never actually met him. I know Tony, we've had some conversations, but like at the end of the day, I think it ultimately just, died down, Will got to actually accept his Oscar and so forth. But like, I almost feel like that situation is not really over yet. I feel like for it to be over,
or not.
I feel like Chris has to get some level of get back. They at least got to meet up in person and Chris got to get a slap back or something.
I can say this. For me, you couldn't do that to me. And even the way it transpired and how the apology months later and how aggrieved you were, you apologized to everybody else that night.
Yeah.
You made a statement that was obviously put together by a PR person the next day. But after you danced, you didn't go home from the Oscars. You didn't sulk. You won and you took your victory lap and it was great.
Oh, he was partying that night.
So don't tell me how sorry you are.
No, I got it.
And so
I got
that's for me. But these two men, I think you put your hands on a man for a joke. And I really think that sparked a lot of people justifying harming people because they don't like what you say.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing.
Because it kind of ties into the whole Dave Chappelle situation, right? The guy rushing, and tackling. I think the guy who actually got, now sentenced for that, they looked through his social media, and I think that he showed like the smack.
He did.
And he goes, Chappelle, you're next.
Do you know?
So that's directly related.
As a result of that, club owners had to hire more security.
Right.
People. So it wasn't just that thing. It preceded, and it was a tacit agreement by the 50% of the population that this is how you act when somebody says something you don't like. Even if I'm in a place where you're allowed to do that. He didn't do that at your house. He did it at the Oscars in the monologue.
Yeah.
And in the award, that's what happens.